All right, so today I want to show you two quick and easy ways to discover new styles in Midjourney. For those situations where you know what you're trying to visualize, but you don't really have any idea of the kind of style you're after. And the first way to do it is by using the sref parameter. Let's say we're trying to visualize a tree. It is just a matter of adding dash dash sref random. Now, the dash dash sref parameter is for copying the style of a certain image. Usually you use it in combination with an URL of an image or an uploaded image to mimic the style of it. But you can also apply a completely random number after sref to just kind of roll the dice and see what style that generates. And the easiest way to randomize it is by using this sref random. Now, if I click that, you'll see that it will apply a purely random number sequence here and see what kind of style it generates. Now, if you want to kind of scale this a little bit, you can say again, tree, sref random, and then add another parameter called repeat 3. And what that does is it rolls the prompt prior to repeat 3 times. So let's do that. Now we can see that each one of those attempts will be using a new randomly generated number applied to sref. All right, now that the images are generated, you can see we get in some really cool styles for all of them here that we can use. And let's imagine now that I love this one, this blue style tree. Now, if I want to reuse it, it's simply a matter of taking the code here and using that. In fact, I can click on this and you can see it will populate it in this window here. So now, no matter what I want to draw, let's say it's a house, I can simply apply this style reference to it. Yeah, and as you can see, it's pretty close. It's using the same kind of watercolor paint vibe with lots of blues. That is a very easy way to both discover and reuse a certain style. What I don't like about this sref random is that all 4 images in each grid will be borrowing the same style. So in fact, it's enough for me to see one of these trees to know approximately the style I'm getting. But if I want a spread between images within the 4-image grid, I can use another parameter, and that parameter is called chaos. So let's say again, let's say tree chaos 100. Now what this does, normally chaos is set to 0 by default. That means that whenever I generate a grid of images, the 4 images in that grid will be sort of stylistically close to each other. Now ramping up chaos to 100 creates a spread between each image in the 4-image grid. So ideally what we should now see is that tree followed by chaos 100 will give us 4 very distinct, very different images. And once again, I can use it in combination with the repeat parameter, chaos 100, repeat 3. So let's generate a bunch more. Great. So after a while, we have a bunch of different grids, each one of them with lots of different images. And now let's say I have an image I really like that I want to reuse. Unfortunately, with chaos, since it didn't assign an sref parameter to it, I can't quite copy and paste it. But I can do 2 things to reuse this image. One of them is that I can left-click and drag the image into the prompt field. What that does is put it here as a reference. And you can use any uploaded image as a reference in 3 different ways. The default one is so-called image reference, and that is Midjourney gets inspiration from both the style and the subject of the image. Then you have something called the character reference. That's this little person icon, and that's perfect if you want to have a consistent character between different panels, whether it's a human character or a cartoon character that you want to reuse. And finally, in the middle, you have this paperclip icon. And that is, again, the sref, or the style reference. And what that does is it looks away from the subject of the underlying image, but it takes this style into account. And that's exactly what we want to use here. So now let's say I clicked on the paperclip, and I'm basically telling Midjourney, take this image, use the style of this image, and apply it to whatever I type in here. And let's say I write house. So as you can see now, this grid has used our tree image as a style reference to kind of paint the house. And especially this one is very close to the color scheme and the look of the image. Let's try it with another subject just for fun. Let's say motorbike. And we again drag the tree in here. And you can see it's again being used as a style reference. Yeah, and as you can see, that turned out pretty cool as far as I'm concerned. Now, so that's the first way of reusing a style you found for other objects, and that is by drag and dropping and using it as a style reference. Another way to do it is to go over here in a tab called Personalize, and then create a new mood board. Now, mood boards are a sort of new feature in Midjourney where you can throw in a kind of an image dump of different styles that you like and let Midjourney merge them into a coherent style. And you can add images by uploading them, adding them from a link if they are found on the web, or in our case, but because we're working within Midjourney, we can actually just say add from gallery. So let's say now I have this gallery here. I'm going to click on this motorbike that I enjoyed, this house, and this tree. All of them are from our consistent style that we like. Let's even take this one with. So now all 5 of these images, they are kind of giving Midjourney an idea of what this consistent style might look like. You can also use this feature with a single image, but the more images of the same type or the same style you feed it, the better it has an idea of what style to apply. So now we just click copy code, and what this does is append this parameter called --p, which means personalize, and then the number of the mood board. I'll actually be curious to hear if those of you who use Midjourney, if you copy this exact code that I will share, whether you will get the same style applied to yours, or is it truly personal and only I can use this number? And basically now I can take this code, and just as I could use the style reference code before, I can use this one to apply it to practically anything. Let's say a horse in a field. And there you go. There's a horse that is rendered in very similar style to the images we fed into the mood board. So there you have it. This is how you find and then reuse new styles using Midjourney. I hope you find it helpful. If you come across some really cool styles you'd love to share, I would really like to see them.